Hello, hello, hello. It is me, A Fox of the Angela Foxworth Show. And yes, it is Tuesday, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. That's right. We are live at 5, and I am so glad to be with you guys today. Listen, share this video out if you are just chilling, sitting in traffic, especially if you're here in Atlanta, okay? Sitting in traffic. I know sometimes it could be a bit monotonous, but how about you turn on the Angela Foxworth Show and enjoy the guests that we have each and every Tuesday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. That's right. I am so excited to be with you guys today. And listen, today I just have a special surprise. Before our guest comes on today, I'm actually just loving it in the studio. So don't forget, I'm here at Tech Genius right here in downtown Atlanta, which is really, I'm in Midtown, okay, right across from the Ponce City Market, okay. I love this place. And we are excited. This is the home of the Angela Foxworth Show. And guess what? I'm actually online with home of the Angela Foxworth Show, the actual network that I am on. That's right, Amethyst on Fire TV on Roku. And guess what? What better way to start the day with my CEO, owner of this amazing network, Brent Moragaskins. Brent, how are you this afternoon?
I am doing fine. How y'all doing?
Hey, Mississippi man. I'm loving that cowboy hat. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I hope everybody else is doing fine. If you are on this live or this live comes across your table and you have time to watch it, please, please, please like, comment, and share the live. Thank you so much.
Yes, we appreciate it. Listen, they know that this show is about inspiration, motivation, and education. And guess what? It nothing changes. We are in for a big treat today. So
Yeah.
listen, let me try to bring my guests on. Hold on a minute. I'm not gonna tell anybody. Oh, listen,
Matter
the
of fact,
banner. Look,
Angela, hold on one second.
yes,
Hold on one
yes.
second. I want to say this first before we bring him on.
Okay.
Um, this young king right here, man, it's like I've listened to, I would say, almost all of his music. Myself and
Wow.
Evan, we sat down and we listened to a lot of his songs, a lot of his different songs. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and every song that we heard, and Sarai,
Uh-huh.
every song that we heard, every video that we watched, every last one of them had a message.
Oh, that's
Every
awesome.
single last one of them had a message. And another thing I love about his music is when it comes to his imagery, when you're talking about music videos,
Mm-hmm.
he believes in what I believe in. Sometimes you got to shock people.
I love it.
Yep. Sometimes you got to shock people, but go ahead. I just want to say that. And I want to say hello to him. And then I'm
Yes.
back out of the room and I'm going to
No,
let y'all know.
I want you to be able to tell him exactly what you told me. Hold on real quick. Let's get our guest on. Hello, hello, hello. I'm bringing him in right now.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Yellow Paint, how
Hey,
are you?
I'm amazing. How are
Salute,
you?
I am
salute.
absolutely wonderful. Thank you
Respect.
so much for being on my show today. It is an absolute honor. But listen, before Brent would let me bring you in, he
Uh,
had something that he wanted you to actually hear. So, Brent, well, listen, I wanted you to hear it too, to be honest with you. But, Brent,
Absolutely.
please tell me what you just said.
Okay. Did you hear me when you were backstage?
I did actually hear you. Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
Okay.
did?
I did, and
Okay.
I extremely appreciate it. Yeah,
I
absolutely. Thank you.
love
I
that.
appreciate you taking the time out and listening to everything in the catalog. First of all, because I got a lot of videos, so if you went through them all, you was sitting there for a minute. So I appreciate
Listen, we as a family, myself, my queen, which is my acting coach, my partner in all my businesses, including the Roku TV channel, which
you.
this is also going to stream on. Listen, man, we binged on it. We went from one song to the next, looking at the because I'm an actor. So we're looking at the creative side of what you're doing, the message,
Absolutely.
how it was shot, the special effects, your words, what you're saying, the message. And again, a lot of times you had to shock people, man. And that that's the only way you're gonna move a crowd of sheep and wake them up. You gotta shock them. You gotta send a wolf in there.
Absolutely. I always say you got to shock people into change. And then when one of my examples is if Jesus came here and all he did was just tell people that, tell people who God was and he didn't heal the blind and, and heal the
Mm,
sick, nobody would have ever believed it. He had to do something that nobody had ever done that they had never seen before for them to even believe in what he was saying. So, yeah, it's like the same concept.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Okay,
Appreciate
So
it.
so
listen,
I'm gonna
you're
I'm gonna back out. I'm gonna let you do your
Nice
thing.
meeting.
King, I appreciate you. And listen, I'm gonna say this from my mouth to your ears. This ain't. I hope your management team or somebody else is around listening to be a witness.
Hmm.
We have a Roku TV channel, and I would like to have a conversation with you further after this is said and done, and the dust has settled down. I would like to have a conversation with you and your team about something that we can offer you that's going to put you across the world every time you hit the stage.
Sounds amazing. I appreciate
Yes, sir. All right.
you. Yeah.
I'm
thank
going to
you,
get out of here.
Prince.
You thank you. My queen, Ebony Joy, says hello, and we'll
Hey,
talk a little bit later,
Ebony.
Tammy.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
Tell everybody
All
I
right.
said hey. Yeah.
Listen, I am so excited to have you with me today. I can't even tell you thank you enough. And what I do love is that first of all, you already have me in goosebumps because you talking some stuff to me when you holler Jesus and God and we look, we can get busy. We can actually talk some stuff. I love that because
Absolutely.
in an industry where it's kind of frowned upon sometimes to lead with your integrity, it feels really good to have a hip hop person say that they give, honor, or what would happen if he came and we didn't make an impact. And so that's what I'm actually hearing is that your music is meant to make an impact. Is that how you always wanted to start in this industry, or was it just a love for music?
It's a mixture of both. I started rapping
Okay.
very, very early, around like 7, 8 years old. So initially, it was for the reasons that everybody else did music. It was to get girls. It was to get the whole nine. You know what I mean? To get
Yes.
some money. You know what I mean? I was influenced by hip hop. But as
Yes.
I got older, I started to really experience life. And one thing my mom always told me was dare to be different. And I went through some real things, and at one point in life it felt like music was my only emotional outlet. So
Wow.
at one point it became therapy, and once people started to be able to be moved by my music and people's lives started to change by the things that I was saying, I realized that I had a bigger responsibility with what I was doing. So it's a lot
Mm.
bigger than just girls and money now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I love that because we definitely have to grow and evolve. But how young were you when
Absolutely.
you first started?
Oh, I was like 7 years old. I had an
Wow.
older cousin that was rapping, and he made it look
Mhm.
cool. He actually did get a lot of female attention. This is back before I did. You know what I mean? I didn't have, I wasn't fly, I wasn't dressed well, so I was very easily influenced, as most 7 year olds are, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I just really grew a passion for music, and I was really good at words too. Like I was winning spelling bees at a young age and everything. So
That's
I was
awesome.
always good with words, so it went hand in hand.
You know
Yeah.
what? And I love to hear that too, because I think that, I never disrespect the genres of music, right? It's just that
Hmm.
I know I'm an old lady, okay? So a
Hmm.
lot of the things that, they're playing today, I may not necessarily understand. It's a different language, a different everything.
Absolutely.
But what I do love is when there is a hip hop rapper who actually is a lyricist. And the
Hmm.
reason why I love that so much is because I feel like it does not stagnate you in who you deliver the message to, because
Hmm.
a lot of times if I don't understand what you're saying, or I'm not hip enough to understand the vernacular, then guess what? You lose me and I don't get to hear whatever it is you're trying to tell, your story. So it's awesome that, as you were educated, you actually did do very well, with spelling, spoke well. That actually comes across. You can tell the difference in a true lyricist when they're rapping, because it's so much more impactful, I feel, because you're able to reach so many people. Is it important to you to reach, not only your generation, but do you love to hear older people say they absolutely love your music?
Yeah, I mean, I realized that with my music, I had a bigger responsibility than just putting together creative songs. So it's about every generation. Like I'm from a dying city. I'm from Dayton, Ohio.
All
I grew up in
right.
a household with a lot of siblings, and I'm in the middle. Like I'm middle child. I got younger
Okay.
brothers. I got older sisters. We was like 16 deep in one house. So
Wow.
the music that I make is a reflection of my experiences, and
Okay.
aside from just what it is, it helps people of all ages. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's so much bigger than music. It's so much bigger than music.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, do you remember your first song? Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
I remember of the first songs, and it's not nothing appropriate to rap on here. That's how big of a transformation. That's how big we turned it around.
I
I don't think it's inspiring. I tell you that.
I always have to ask that question
Yeah,
because you still got to remember humble beginners, whether they were Ratchet
absolutely.
City or not. Okay, because look,
Yeah,
my show, when I first started out, and I used to say I'm interviewing with a purpose. Well,
yeah,
I was look, free for all. I'm like, say what you gotta say, do what you gotta do. This is uncensored. That's how
for
I felt,
sure.
So I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
And then later on, as I started to evolve, I'm like, okay, maybe I can't really say that many cuss
yeah,
words no more. Okay, okay.
for sure. You
So
start realizing yeah, what you got to do.
yes,
Nah,
yes, we know that we have to grow up and be responsible. With that being said, so right now you have your music that's out. What is, your current songs or your current album? And then what is one of your most influential songs, and why is it influential for you?
Um, I have such a myriad of
I've heard
songs.
that.
Like the collection is vast. My last studio album I released was called Bloody Summer, and I was getting very introspective into the type of things that happen in the community where I'm from, as far as
Okay.
gun violence and and just the amount of people that die in my community. And I was trying to make music that was fun to listen to, while also
Mhm.
exposing to people to the dangers of participating in illegal activities and being in the streets. Obviously it's voting season. My vote don't count, or my vote will count,
Mm,
is probably my most culturally accepted song.
yes.
And it had reached the masses, from Oprah to Steve Harvey to MSNBC to the list goes
Yes.
on and on and on. And
Yes.
I was talking about the importance of participating in the upcoming election. So because we have an upcoming election right now, that song has
Mhm.
went viral about 2 times within the last 2 months, from all over the
Yes.
internet. So I would say that's one of my biggest songs. I have a song called Graduation, where I talk about how parents treat their children unequally, and that's a really
Mhm.
big song. So I can't even say what my biggest song is, or
Okay.
what song
Okay.
is the most important, but the catalog it all has a purpose. You know what I mean?
I love that, and they're all
Yeah,
relatable too, because even with
absolutely.
your our you said it's our vote don't count,
My vote,
my
what
vote
was it?
don't
My
count.
vote don't count. Yeah,
That even reached Chelsea Clinton, from what I was told, and you were
yeah,
they shared it out. That is how impactful
absolutely.
it was. What made you decide to write that? I know we are definitely in a season where it
Hmm.
is so important, but if we're being honest, voting covers a whole myriad of things, right?
Yeah.
It's from anywhere from racism to things that we dealt with in our past, culturally speaking. What made you decide that a video that you wanted to put out and the message that you wanted to get to people with regards to that?
M- Majority of my music comes from experience, right? It comes from
Right.
new experiences that are so overwhelming of an emotion that I have to share them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had a cousin that was running for Congress, and she asked me to make a song about voting, and I did it. I said, "Cuz I love you, but I voted for Obama back in 2012, and I felt like my life didn't change. Everything that I got in my life, I got it on my own, and no president, no
Yeah.
politician ever helped me. That was a strong stance that I had. My outlook
Mm.
was pretty firm. And then she said, "What are some things that you would like to see change?" And I started to explain to her, like, well, it's potholes in the street. Like, I'm from Dayton, Ohio. It's
Yeah.
potholes in the street. It's hard to drive. I was like, I got friends that's incarcerated for this many years, and they didn't even really do nothing worth getting that kind of time. And she started to
Yeah.
give me all of these different politicians in office that were not the president, that I was not even
Mhm.
prior to hearing that, I didn't even know any of that information. And she was like, well, there's an infrastructure bill or a transportation bill that can be expedited, that can get that can get those roads fixed. And she was
Yeah.
breaking it all the way down till I realized, it was a wake up moment. Like, wait, so you mean to tell me that everything in my community, all of the problems that's occurring in my community are tied to people that I have never even heard of, and these are people
Yeah.
that I can vote for. So once I found that out, I grew a passion for it. I was like, no, I have to talk
Yes.
about this, because not only am I just now waking up to this, but nobody in my community is ever going to get this information if I don't give it to them. Because now that I know, who is going to do it?
I
Because
love that.
and the only reason why I listened to my cousin, honestly, was because I loved her. If I didn't love my
Yes.
cousin, I
Yes.
probably, as a young man, would not have even taken the time out to listen to that type of information. So I heard that
Yes.
information from her, and I had to make sure that everybody in my community had the same information.
I love that because listen, I think that sometimes we have gotten so disillusioned on where our power really lies. And a lot of times, like you said,
Absolutely.
so I learned that late in life as well. I was not, for whatever the reason, we were always kind of taught high level as well. I didn't realize, like if I wanted to get with my agricultural commissioner, that would
Oh,
help with,
that's a great one.
the
Yeah.
yes, that food that comes into our, in our
Yeah.
cities and towns and different things like that. A lot of the laws that are local, those are your state legislature. Those are your judges that you vote for within your, districts, and your senators and congressmen that are supposed to be representing your district in, the United States. So
Exactly.
it definitely was a wake up call. And sometimes we are so, you know, um, we're so specific to the president that we forget about the powerful people within our own, arena. And those are things that we really like. I didn't know you could just write if you have a gripe about certain things, you can just, oh, hold on, oh, we lost him, but that's okay, we're gonna get him back, just give us 1 second. And listen, while we're waiting on him, I'm gonna go ahead and we got station identification. Let me go ahead and let you guys take a look at this. Good, let me see what I'm gonna pick for you guys. Check out this trailer real quick.
Diverse Nation Productions presents Finding Me. Amazing story written by Clinton Diverse Small. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and moved to Charlotte, North Carolina to bring you this amazing play. This play takes you on a journey of 9 individuals going through life. This play will make you laugh, cry, and be angry. You remember what Mama say, whatever happens in this house stays in this house. This play allows you in the house. Come heal, come motivate, come be a part of the journey. Finding Me. Tickets on sale.
$25 at the Kannapolis Middle School Theater. Doors open up at 7. Show starts at 8 p.m. sharp. Be there and be blessed.
All right, we are back. Yellow Paint, do I have you back with me?
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly happened, but yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, that is okay. Listen, I have station identification for anything that goes down. Don't even worry
Yeah, you
about it.
played that
Look,
smooth. I like that. I like
yes,
that.
yes. But, so getting back to what we were saying, it is so important to know locally who has all of the power. That is actually who you need to know about, what they stand for from a local perspective, because that's our everyday living. And most of the times,
Exactly.
they're going back to the huge president, and discussing what those issues are. So I love the fact that you're educating us, and it is so important to get an understanding of what is really going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the thing with the presidential election is that is all we see. When I was
Yeah.
younger, and even when I did my research, I was looking for like children's books on voting and the process of voting, and majority of the books, if not all of them, were about the presidential election. And so my first president,
Yeah.
Mikey wants to be president. It was just all of these type of like presidential things. And then when election time comes around, you have so much promotion on the president. But like the agricultural commissioner, for example, that was a great
Yes.
example when you mentioned that, because after I made a song in the initial song in 2020, it was
Uh-huh.
only about 6 to 8 months ago when I actually found out what an agricultural commissioner was. And because when I was
Right.
creating a card game, breaking down the
Mhm.
entire just all of the different people that are in office, and I came across the
Yes.
agricultural commissioner, realized how important that person's role was in our community,
Yes.
and I didn't even know, and I was
Yes.
actively studying. So it just goes to show how big of a gap it is between the information that's
Yes.
out there and our community, and that's why it's so important that we not only learn it, but we teach it to the people around us.
Yes, and that is why it's very important, because the thing is, what tends to happen with people is that we get so inundated with the bigger picture that we're not looking at, again, on our level and what we need to do. And the funny thing is,
Exactly.
it could be everyday things that you need, and they're the ones that can help with that. Let me tell you the other part of that, right? When we
All right.
don't know what time it is, and I know I get so excited about this because listen, this is my jam, right? But
Yeah.
when we do not know, who does what, do you notice that a lot of the old money, okay, and I'm talking about old money, meaning families that had established those cities way back when, it's
Mm,
just continuing to stay in their arena. They're
mhm,
continuing to be the powers that be,
mhm.
because no one's learning to understand what we could do to jump in and change things. So things continue to
Absolutely.
stay. Yes, as those families just continue to, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles, they all end up just continuing to keep that heritage, and to because their families stay political, so they're the ones that's always legacy business, because again, in some way, shape, or form, it is still a business, and they get to keep that
Absolutely.
all in house, while we are still in the background, not understanding. And then because we're not really paying attention, or we're distracted by other stuff, we do not have a voice. And that's what
Mhm.
ends up happening. We feel like we're going to get the voice just on the presidential side, but it's in the cities that we really need to step up and start talking about it.
Absolutely. There's a phrase that says, the people who vote the most have the most. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
and those are the other communities who vote the most. Our communities are discouraged from the process, so we don't
Yes.
get a lot of the benefits that come with voting for the things that could benefit our community. But
Yes.
a lot of times when you even preach that, it gets a little disheartening, because the people in our community don't believe that voting will help them economically. But I think another
Correct.
thing is that we put a lot of pressure on the economic advantages of voting, but there's things that are not economic. Like we're talking about like abortion. getting
Yes.
reversed, and
Yes.
we're talking about mass incarceration. We're talking about
Yes.
so many things in our community that are not even tied to money. You know
Discussed.
what I mean?
Yep.
To the
Yep.
curriculums in the school. That just comes down to the school
Yes.
board, and these are things that are getting that we're just not even having a say in because we're
Yeah.
choosing to not vote, and it's so much more harmful. It's literally irresponsible for us
It is.
as adults to not vote. Like, voting should be as mandatory to us as eating, and as taking our
Yes.
kids to school, because literally our lives, our livelihood, and our quality of life,
Yes.
our lived experience is tied back to the laws that are in place and the people who are in control of our communities.
Yes, and I love that you
Yeah.
said that too, because one of the biggest issues that we do have is the fact that we feel like it doesn't matter, like it's not gonna matter. But let me just say this. I'm
Yeah.
I'm just a person that kind of likes to go by what I see, right? And here's the thing. If voting didn't really matter, then why would they be so hard pressed not for us to vote or to keep us from, being able to do that? I think sometimes we have to use a little common sense, and we
Hmm.
can't be lazy about our part in that process, because at the end of the day, just like, it sometimes we have to wait until something traumatic happens before we decide that we're going to get up and we're going to take a stand. Just like, I love that you went back to the non-tangibles, right? The non-money. Mass
Hmm.
incarceration, which really affects us more than anybody, right? Our culture, those things. But we never even talk about why we keep putting private prisons in place, right? Because does anybody
Exactly.
ever ask, where does that money go? If we have a private prison and we're putting people in jail, right? Does anybody ever ask the question is why someone who, may not have done a non-violent crime will get a sentence of 30 or 40 years right off the rip, just because of who they are? Where do you think who do you think that money is going to? Is to whoever owns that prison. And what
Hmm.
about, people don't even think about something as small as commissary. Has anybody ever
Hmm.
looked up businesses to see who owns the commissary in private jails? You know how you get your ding dongs and Twinkies and this and that. Somebody owns that. Money is going somewhere. Has anybody ever looked to see what telephone numbers? Listen, it's a lot of things out there that we need to be checking and understanding. You talked about education. I love that you brought that up. How come we've never gotten together? We know the lies that get told about history and different things like that. Why is that still in our education? Why haven't we fought to get the true, history put into our schools? See, those are things, that's
Exactly.
what your superintendents are for. That's
Hmm.
what your board of education is for. Again,
Hmm.
there are fights that we need to be fighting that are even greater. So you talked about abortion, and I love that you spoke on that. It is a very personal, private thing. And to be honest, whether you agree with it or whether you don't agree with it, it actually belongs to whoever the person is that's making the decision. But let's think about that even in a nutshell, because it's a twofold situation. We're told no, you don't need to be, aborted. That's killing a life, right? And that part I do understand. But when you keep that child, what are you telling the person that decided to keep it how they're going to continue living, or what you're going to do? What ends up happening to those children? What ends up happening to the wayward children? Have we ever put a connection with human trafficking as opposed to the not the forgotten kids, the ones that are just in, in your, what do you call it, where they go, like if you're an orphan, or if are abused, we call it the system. And it's the system for a reason. So it's like there's
Hmm.
so many things. And of the people that did abort, right, there was, the last statistic said something about 4 million black babies were aborted last year, or the last couple of years, right? When you think about that in a nutshell, that was 4 million opportunities for somebody to vote, or 4 million opportunities for
Hmm.
it to be a live person that can make a difference in the world. We got to start really understanding the seriousness of these topics, and that they're not just a punchline. So anybody that's coming in and trying to tell us this is what we need to do, and we can laugh and smile and joke on that, it's not a laughing matter. It's funny and it's detrimental, and it's actually the reason why we can't ever pull forward, because in actuality we're sad that we're the minority, right? But how do we know? You do the census every year, but how do you know we're the minority in the census? Everybody don't answer the census. They don't put their information on there. How do we know it's not
You're right.
Egypt to Israel, if we're being honest? And I'm talking about from a biblical perspective. So, those are the conversations. Look, I told you I could be on this soapbox, but how do you feel about that? Like, that's just where I'm at in today's climate.
How do I feel about what exactly?
Just like in general, where we're at with all of these different topics. I love that you said the importance of the voting, but it is important for us to know all of these things. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a important for us to know all of these things, and and my position is not even to say whether or not I agree with these
Yep.
individual things one way or the other. It's just to let people know that, hey, these things are being controlled by
Yes.
votes. Let's not think
Yes.
that this is like, a lot of people feel so defeated. They feel like people are going to make the decisions that they want regardless.
Yes.
The government is just going to do what they want, and they just tell us to vote so that we could feel like we're somewhat a part of the process. And the sad truth is that's not the case. Nobody's
Right.
just making a decision. Like, when the Constitution was written, it was split into, we have three branches of government for a reason. It's checks and balances. Nobody is
Yes.
so extremely powerful that they can just do what they want. The problem
Yeah.
is, it is complex. We do have a lot of people that are so discouraged with how the system works, that it
Yeah.
is working for people to just be able to do what they want. But it's not because that's just how it's set up. It's because we're not participating, and we have to know just how important it is to participate.
Yes, I love
Yeah,
that. I love that. So, with that being said, for your next, level, your next project, what do we
yeah.
have to look forward to, Yellow Page?
Yeah, specifically in the civic engagement space, I have a documentary. It's called Simplify, and it's coming out very soon. And
Love
what I did
it.
was, I went to the community and I asked people what the problems were. What do you feel like you need to be changed? And then I took those problems and those questions, and I took them to people that are in office, politicians, state reps, governors, etc. And I asked them, hey, who would somebody have to vote for? What would have to happen for these things to happen? And I bridged the gap, and I did it in such a simplified way, so that somebody like me, who I was prior to being politically engaged, who literally didn't care and didn't speak any language, didn't even know what judicial meant or legislative meant, so simple
Yes.
that somebody just like me, who didn't care about the system, could understand. Somebody like one of my siblings, or somebody from my community who's not politically engaged, very
Yes.
simple, so that they can understand. And I did that, and it's called Simplify. It'll be out real soon. I also have a children's book and a card game, and all of these
Love that.
things are literally helping people who don't believe or don't care about the system get so much information on a very ABC level, so that they can participate and be encouraged to. I have all of those things coming. Obviously, I'm a rapper, so I'm constantly dropping music, not even just in the
Yes.
political space. Like, I dropped a video 2 days ago. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Die Alone. And it's just about just me not wanting relationships, because I'm not trying to deal with heartbreak. Like, so we constantly dropping music in every space, you know what
Yes.
I mean? But
Yes.
in the civic engagement space, that's what we got going on. So just stay tuned. It's a lot coming.
I love that. I love that. But hold on, we need to come back to dialogue. Hold on, hold on. I
Yeah.
gotta ask a question. So
Yeah,
I
let's do it.
definitely hear you. So what do you feel
Yeah.
like is the most complicated thing about a relationship? I would love to hear this from a young man.
I just, one thing for sure is I think that the age that we are in right now,
Hmm.
it's a it's I think everybody is optimizing for survival. I think everybody is, you know people are afraid of commitment, even me, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Because we live in a very scary world, you know what I'm saying? Nobody
Yes.
is really preparing themselves to be a husband or a wife right now. So you never know what you're getting into. You may think that you're getting into something that is genuine and honest, but everybody got they different sides that they show. So it's a scary world right now. So
It is.
it's easier to just stay away from it. And obviously that's not, especially even if you are a Christian, like biblically, that's not the way to go, to be, just having a lot of different situations, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
kind of where I
Definitely.
am right now until I can, until I find the right
Yeah.
situation.
I
Yeah,
think that is awesome that you say that though, because a lot of times
yeah,
people are like they can be irresponsible when it comes to that. But you just even knowing that that is what you're focused on, just staying focused on the here and now, and everything else will I feel like it'll come together when it's time to come together. And so
yeah,
this might just be the season for you to be able to focus. But let me give you some
yeah.
encouragement. So I've been
All
married
right,
for
let's do it.
27 years, right?
Let's go.
And
Let's
thank
go.
you, thank you.
Let's
And
go.
I just want to say there is nothing more rewarding than
Yeah,
being with someone that you absolutely love and can depend on. And
yeah,
sometimes navigating through this world, although alone, you get the opportunity to make your own decisions. You don't have to really compromise or anything. But if you
yeah,
do find the right person, it is such a feeling of comfort,
yeah.
that you have somebody to lean on. So just remember, that definitely, when you find the right one, it's going to be absolutely
Hey,
wonderful. It's
listen,
nothing to fear.
I look forward to it. Right now ain't the time. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes,
I do look
yes,
forward to that type of love. You know what I mean? At times I can be, a hopeless romantic. So I would love that type of love. But you know,
yes.
it's just
And
where
this
I'm looking
industry is
for it.
hard. It's going to test
Yeah,
you,
it's yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just, you said you've been married for 27 years. Listen,
yeah.
27 years ago, she probably was waiting on me. Right now, she probably in the club or something. So yeah, oh no,
But listen, we had to learn and grow together. When we first started
absolutely,
out, we always had this image of what we thought marriage would be. Let me just help you out. It ain't that image. You
for
gotta
sure.
definitely learn patience and stuff like that. So it
Yeah,
definitely makes it a lot easier.
amazing.
But yes, and I love that you're so focused, because that is so important, and the responsibility that you have. So I think that's wonderful. And the fact that you do have children's projects, what does it mean to you to be a role model? Because you really are, and looking out for that next generation. How do you feel about being a role model and how important that is to you?
I'm honored, and it's a blessing that that I'm in a position to be a role model. To be honest, though, it's about the result more than it is even about me being a role model. For example, if I was not a rapper, and I still had the
Mhm.
same understanding that I have, I would
Mhm.
find a rapper that was as influential as me and invest in him, and make sure that he was teaching the kids so that he could be the role model. At the end of the day, I come, like I said, from a dying city. I come from a big family with a lot of siblings that go through a lot of different things, and a lot of people don't really have anybody to look to, that or
Yes.
anything to look to. They don't even have the information of how the community works around them. They don't know about how voting works. They don't know about how economics work. You know what I'm saying? They don't know, they don't have mental health. They don't have, anybody that's like taking them to therapy. They don't have any of those
Yes.
things. So for me to be able to contribute to my community and to the people that I love to any capacity, it's a blessing. You know what I mean? So
It
I'm
is.
able to do it through music, which is a blessing. But even outside of me, what I'm saying, even outside of me personally being a role model, what I'm saying, I'm just excited, and I live for the opportunity to help people that I love.
I love that. I love that. So listen, we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna again, we have station identification. So we're gonna watch a trailer that is so awesome. This movie, let me tell you, I saw this movie personally, and it was really, really good. It had a twist at the end. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey.
What are you doing here?
Davey asked me to keep an eye on things.
So what, you don't trust me now?
You know how impatient he can get.
What's that for?
Oh, this is just in case Jack needs some further encouragement.
I've got it handled.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm just following directions.
Hmm. I know I saw you, right?
Where?
At that house. With them. I know you're helping her.
She's my friend. I was just taking her things.
You know Davey wouldn't like it if he found out that you were helping him.
Doesn't have to know.
Hurry up, Jack.
That's for Michael.
Yeah, look, she was wrong for that, okay?
She said that's for Michael.
Exactly. But that movie
She
has so
wasn't playing
many
about Michael.
little okay. It had so many little twists and turns in it, and a definite surprise ending. So it was really, really good. I watched it one Saturday night, and of course, my owner of this network was one of the stars in the movie. So I'm really always excited to rep his projects because he's always in some great, great projects. But before, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and like I said, I love the fact
Likewise.
that that you have literally taken the bull by the horn, so to speak, to get this information
Mhm.
out to the masses. What do people say to you, like when you're talking to people, or they're trying to support what you're doing, or whatever the case may be? What is the feedback that you get from a lot of them? Are they always surprised that you're so young with a lot of wisdom?
Yeah, I definitely, definitely.
Yes.
Even age aside, I get a lot of people, and I think one thing that I do pride myself on that a lot of people tell me is just the unconventional messaging. You know how we were talking earlier
Yes.
about shocking people into change.
Yes.
It's just, and I think I'm blessed that people notice it, but just to double down on what it actually is like telling people things in the most general way, it just doesn't move the needle. Even with voting, telling
Yeah.
people, hey, you need to vote, your ancestors died for you to vote, it doesn't move the needle.
Yeah.
Telling people that people are dying in the community, and it's either go to prison or go to jail, it doesn't move the needle. Telling people that the origin of Thanksgiving was murder and slaughter, it doesn't move the needle. You
Yeah.
have to show people these things in a way that moves the needle, and that has to shock them to some capacity, that has to get their emotions involved to some capacity. They have to be able to see themselves in a situation, and I know that because
Yes.
I'm very stubborn. I am. You tell me some new information, just like with voting, I didn't want to hear it when my cousin was telling me. And if you were to tell me some new information right now, I would hear you, but something inside of me will reject it just a little bit until there's
Yeah.
a way to give it to me in a way that changes the way I think. It's
Yes.
it's difficult to get through to people. Everybody feel like they know something. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
blessed to be able to show people the things that that I'm learning in unique ways.
Yes, and I think that's important too, because on your age level, only you would be able to relate. Maybe
Hmm.
other people may sound like a parent, and you know how sometimes our
Yeah.
kids are just naturally rebellious again. Okay, mama, we know. But to
Yeah.
hear it from someone, that's their age and have issues that were relatable to, exactly what's going on. I tell people sometimes that I feel like, how they always say experience is the best teacher. I
Hmm.
think that is very good. And I think, but sometimes it would be great if we could hear someone tell us something and prevent, from
The
going
experience.
into an arena of experience,
Exactly. And sometimes
even
the
though
experience
experience,
is too be makes the situation too late because now the
yeah,
experience be
some, it,
so detrimental
yeah,
to whatever it is, you know what I mean? Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So yeah, a
Even in
good
doing our walk, if you're a believer and if you do believe
mm,
in God, even with believing in God, sometimes my prayer has been, Father God, change my mind so that I don't learn the lessons you're teaching me late. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? Like, I
yeah,
don't want to always have to say, man, I learned that because I had to lose everything. Let it be some things that I just listen, I get the wisdom, and then I just apply it. It's just like, oh, this
Absolutely.
flesh of ours.
Yeah. No, seriously
But
though. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we've talked about, what is important to you. We have talked about the things that you have going on. Before we get off of here, I just would love for you to just share anything in your heart that you want to share to this audience out here today. I know that they're just as blessed as I am to hear you speak, because a lot of the things, and you know how sometimes they'll say, they'll use someone young to shame the wise, the people who think that they know it all or hear it all. And sometimes with just that, that gentle word and just being able to, effectively communicate, it makes such a big difference. And I think that's the part of the love that you can actually feel from you. You have a genuine care and a genuine love for what it is you do. So, for anybody out there that you would just like to give a word of encouragement or whatever you would like to do, please take the time to do that now.
I appreciate that. Well, first off, anybody listening to this, I got to tell you, I tap in with Yellow Pain. Follow me,
Yes.
listen to my music. I have an abundance of different songs. So, it's a lot of different lessons. If you want to get inspired, if you want to just have fun, if you want to turn up, tap in with Yellow Pain. But aside from that, I think one of the biggest things with me is one of my slogans, and it was actually an album title of mine, was "I'm still here because I didn't give up." And I just want to tell anybody listening that, listen, it don't matter where you are in life. If you still here, if you still breathing, if God allowed you another day, there is a reason why you're here. I don't know what that reason is, and it might not even seem like it's a reason, but it's a reason. I'm still here because I didn't give up. And there was times, I'm telling you, where I just knew I don't have a purpose. Like, I just knew, like, what am I here for? And look, what I'm saying? Like, God has blessed me, so many times over. So don't give up. And don't be afraid to start over. Never be afraid to start over. I don't care if you sleeping under a bridge. Your life, don't look at it like, this year is, I'm at this age. I should have did all this by this age. Just look at it like, 5 years from now, like, if you knew without the shadow of a doubt that 5 years from now your life will be completely different, what would you do today? You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
Boy, you are talking something. That is a confirmation, because I have thought about giving up so many times. And
Mm.
honestly, it's funny that you use even the analogy that you just used. That's what I said. I'm like, you know, as long as I'm breathing, no matter how old I am, get back
Mm.
up. And if at first you don't succeed, try again. And I
Yeah.
did give myself a 5-year plan. I said, okay, from this
Hey.
point, I got 5 years to get this where I wanted to be. So I
Yeah.
love that you spoke on that. That is nothing but sheer confirmation. But what I want to
Amazing.
ask you,
What's up?
who were your influences in life? I often, am curious, especially when you're dealing with, musician and musical artists.
Hmm.
Who influenced your music, or what you speak about today?
Um, like I told you, I and I don't say this to take credit away from different artists that
Mm-hmm.
that I listen to, but like, I really grew up with a lot of people in one household. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
had a mom, I had a dad, I got 7 sisters, I got bad brothers, I got, like, we packed crammed
Yes.
into one. And I'm talking about different stories. My sister going through this with her boyfriend, or she going through this with her husband, or this happening, and these people
Yeah.
fighting, this person go to jail, this person get out of jail. Like, I'm just, it's so many stories, like, packed into where I'm my inspiration literally comes from, one, creating a better quality of life for the people around me, but two, I just
Okay.
have so many places to pull from. I've
I
seen
love
people
that.
struggle for years and years and years, and then finally get just that job. You know what I mean? I've seen
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
win for years and years and years, and then lose everything, lose the house. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I've seen it on every spectrum. I've been a part of it, and I'm just so inspired. Um, just about real life. You know what I mean? I got a lot of real life to pull from. You know what I mean? So my biggest
Yeah.
inspiration is the people around me.
I love that. That is absolutely wonderful. I really do. So, listen, I am, like I said, you have been an absolute joy to interview. Um,
Thank you.
I cannot wait till we see, what happens from this point on because you are truly like infectious. And I just
Thank
see,
you.
kids really learning and adults really learning from you, and I think that is absolutely amazing. It's not a lot of times in this genre that you can say that. So look, Brent is in. I think
Eh,
Brent is in the house. Brent, are you back in the house? Let me see. Let me see. Nope, he is in the house. Brent, are you in the house?
Yes, I am. I think my cameras are turned around. I'm not gonna worry about that right now.
Okay.
what up, Brent?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, we can hear
okay.
you just
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think my camera's turned around, but don't worry about that. Sorry. So
Okay.
listen. First of
Yeah.
all, thank both of you guys for being very comfortable and speaking your truths and connecting and dropping so many jewels and so much good information. I did want to clear one thing up. So when it
Okay.
Hmm.
came to your music, Yellow Pain,
Hmm.
it was our daughter who, and her name is Sarania Osteen. She's a middle schooler. Um,
Okay.
she was the one that turned us on to your music.
Hey, shout out to her. Shout out to Sarania.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. That's
yeah,
love. Tell her I
yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. She was the one that turned us on to your music, and again, you carry a message. You have a very bright light.
Yes.
Hmm.
Myself, my queen, Ebony, Sarai. Again, we listen to your music. You're telling a story, and every time we look at the videos, we can pick up something different. We can pick up a different um, um, revelation of a part of the video. You know what I'm saying? That maybe okay, that was a little nuance. We're not sure what it was, but now we found the piece and it connects and it comes together. But keep doing what you're doing. And my
Yes.
only one request leaving this is let's please connect because again, I would love to use that Roku channel with 77 million households to do
Hmm.
something with you that allows you again to have another place to use your voice and use your talent
Hmm.
to educate people. Because again, my vote don't count. My vote does count.
Yes.
It's so elementary, and like somebody said, it was like when I was
Absolutely.
growing up, you had Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
You know,
Hmm.
Yes.
I'm just a bill. Yeah, I'm only a
And
bill.
sitting here on Capitol
On
Hill.
Capitol Hill. Well, wow. So but
Yes.
music is a very good learning tool, and
Yes.
keep doing what you're doing. Stay true to yourself. I like your origin story, knowing the fact that your family helped
Yes.
create the some of the direction and things that you actually put into words. Man, that's beautiful. Let's stay in touch. Let's make something even bigger happen. Thank you, Angela. Great interview as well.
Oh,
Absolutely.
And everybody
thank
have a
you.
blessed evening.
You too,
Thank you.
Brent. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you
And
tapping
listen,
in.
Yellow
Thank you.
Pain, one more time. Tell them how they can, get your music, download the music, how they can follow you. Give us that information before we go tonight.
Absolutely. So it's at Yellow Pain everywhere. It's
Love it.
YelloPain. It's no W, just Yellow Pain, one word. And wherever you listen to music at, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, is that there. You go to Instagram, Facebook, wherever you go to entertain yourself. I'm sure you can find Yellow Pain somewhere on that website. It's at Yellow Pain. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. It has been absolutely amazing. And guys, there you have it. I am so excited that you got the opportunity to hear from Yellow Pain, to get to know him more. He is such a deep soul, and I cannot wait for him to continue growing in this industry. It is so needed, something refreshing and new and educational and fun, all at the same time and relatable. And that's what we want. Well, it is another close of the Angela Foxworth Show. And you can find me at www.theafoxshow.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Angela Foxworth TV, and of course on Facebook as Angela Foxworth. So listen, thank you guys again for another amazing, terrific Tuesday. I will see you guys next week, same back time, same back channel. But listen, I am Angela Foxworth, and you know life with a fox is living outside the box, and I am always
Hey,
interviewing with a purpose. You guys
hey,
have
I
an
love that.
absolutely Thank you so much, YelloPain. You guys have an absolutely wonderful evening. Okay? Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, hold on.